Good afternoon once more. Welcome to ASCA's Research Support Webinar Series. This is our 14th live session.
I want to mention an administration fee of 150.
Before we continue, I would like to request everyone to please mute their mics to avoid any background noise or sort. My name is Vinolia, and I'm the marketing coordinator for ASCA. I would like to take you through some housekeeping rules before we start. Like I said, please mute yourselves to avoid any disturbances or background noise. And for those who would like to write their comments and questions, we have a chat box. You can write your questions and comments in the chat box. And after the presentation, that's when we're going to present your questions for you. Again, for those who would like to present their own questions after the session, you will be given the opportunity to raise your hand and then you'll be notified to present your questions. Today we have our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is Dr. Yavana from India, Bengaluru. If I pronounced it correctly. Okay, we have Dr. Yavana Rani, who is an associate professor of MBA in the decision science area. Since receiving her MBA and PhD in management, she has devoted her career to research and teaching. She also has a master's degree in structural engineer. She is the university rank holder in MBA. She has 16 years of teaching experience. Dr. Rani has received Young Scientist Fellowship Awards from Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology. She has completed her fellowship from India Institute of Science, Bangalore. She is the lifetime member in India Society for Technical Education. Dr. Rani has done 2 research projects. Research project sponsored by India Council for Social Science and Research. She has published more than 10 research articles in Scopus Index and Springer journals. She has presented papers in national and international conferences in India and abroad. She is the editor for many reputed journals. She has delivered keynote address in countries like Egypt, Malaysia. Prof. Rani holds many administrative roles such as Dean Student Affairs, Director Coordination for various activities. She has been a project director for Entrepreneurship Cell, sponsored by Department of Science and Technology. She has also coordinated many programs. Prof. Rani has got funding for conducting conferences, international visits from various funding agencies like DST and ICSSR. I would like to welcome our guest speaker, who is Prof. Rani, to take over. Prof. Rani, you are welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Vinolia, right?
Thank you, that's correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinolia, for your wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. So it's really a pleasure for me to be here with you all. So thank you so much for the opportunity given. And I would like to thank Professor Ravinda sir for this opportunity and the Professor here and the Professor Amda also. Thank you so much. And good evening. I hope the students are here, right? The postgraduate students and masters and the PhD students are here. So the audience good to know. And really happy to see that this institute is committed to excellence in research. Really, I'm very much excited and to see this. It's the universities, how the college and universities have been committed to excellence in research. So it's really a great job that you're doing. And I think this is a continuous web series that you're conducting. It's really great. So we know that why research. So let us get into the session. So here, I would like to tell why research is important, right? We all know that the education research always, it improves the teaching and learning methods by empowering with the data to help teach and lead more strategically and effectively the education. Okay. But as far as the students is concerned, how it helps. So the students can apply their knowledge to practical situations. Okay. So this is how the research help the students. And you know that without research, the advancement, what is happening in day-to-day life, it might have improved some lives or saved others, may not come to pass. So for universities, the research component allow a broader educational experience, whereby the students are able to explore the effects of applying the new thought process through study and testing. So that's why the research is very important here. So as a student, you can explore more things, you can apply the practical, the theory into practical things. So here I am not going to touch any theoretical part. I'll just give an intro about the basic concepts of research. Then we'll move on to a practical thing. I've just come out with some case study. Okay, so you can open up the case study which I told Ms. Benulia to circulate to you. So let us start. Okay, so this is I would like to tell about some of the basic concepts when we should know before starting a research. Okay, as the as students of MBA or postgraduate or PhD students, you know that we always want to explore something in research, but we don't know what is research. So only after completion of a PhD, I came to know what is research actually. So these are some of the basic concepts that we should know. Okay, why research? Okay, why sampling is being done? So you know what is a population, right? So I want to measure. I want to study the placement level of students, of MBA students in South Africa. So what I should do? Who is the population for my study? So population is the MBA students. It's not the whole population of South Africa. So population means the students of MBA, right? So out of that, it's very difficult to get data from all the students of MBA in South Africa. So we have to go for a sampling now. So for that, what we do is we select some few the number of samples among the MBA students in South Africa, the whole South Africa. We select some cities, and out of that cities, there are sampling techniques for them. Out of the cities, we have to select some samples, and the sample size determination, everything is there. Okay, so what we actually want to represent. So the samples, what we have drawn from the population, it actually represents the whole population. The information or the addition which has been derived out of the sample represents the whole population. So let us take that, yes, the students, the MBA students are placed in a higher level with an average package of, so we can say this much amount. So, okay, so it talks about the whole population. So your sample, what you are selecting is very important while we go again do a research. Okay, so population and sample. And variables is the characteristics, the qualitative and quantitative variables that I'll tell you while we do the case study here. What is a qualitative variable and what is a quantitative variable? So quantity means it's measurable, like height, weight, okay, the age and everything. Everything is measurable. Qualitative measures, like you can say the honesty or beauty, Okay, so we can't measure it directly, but it can be measured with the help of quantitative measurements. Okay, this is what, so we can also measure with the help of some quantitative variables. So this is all variables, and parameter is nothing but the characteristics of the populations. What we talk about, suppose mean of the population or standard deviation of the population is called a parameter. And statistics is the mean of the sample what we have taken, or standard deviation, or the population size or the sample size. So all that are called the about the population is called a parameter, and about the sample is called the statistic. So this is the notations. You can see these are the notations. For size, it is capital N. You can see here mean. So it's represented by mu something. Okay, this okay. Next, we'll move on. So I told you, like if it is a population is too large, we have to draw the samples, okay, and collect the data from the sample. That's what we have to do in our research, and organize the data. Organizing the data, it means cleaning the data and segregating the data, okay, and analyze the organized data. That is with the help of some statistical tools, or with the help of, so normally when we have done our MBA, we used to do everything manually for analysis. So we enter the data in a very big, the chart paper. We do it everything manually. We don't have a software at that time. But Excel, of course, Excel, but we are not used to that. But nowadays we have many softwares to analyze the data. And within a fraction of a second, you can get the output. So next, finally, is the drawing the conclusion from the population of a sample to which is applicable to the population. So I told you about the raw data set, the qualitative data and the quantitative data. So when it is a categorical data, you have to make a frequency table, okay, that I'll tell you while doing our practical example here. And quantitative data is about, again, you have to modify the data range, and you have to make a frequency table. I told you the qualitative and the quantitative can be measured. So finally, what we do is after segregating, we have to represent the data in a pictorial form. That either we do it in a, with the help of graph or tabular form. So we all know that the graphical representation of a data set, either we can represent that to a bar diagram or pie diagram, histogram, steam leaf display, pie, time plot. So there are many charts that we can use to depict the data, because it's easily understandable. Instead of giving it in a paragraph or writing, we always represent the data in a table or in a chart. So how we represent, summarizing the data, summarize it. So summarize it, it's nothing but you have to study the variability. You have to locate the central, that is mean, median, mode. We have to find the frequency, percentages, and the standard deviation, okay, on a quantitative variable. Yes. So here, next comes the sampling technique. I hope you have studied about this sampling techniques, probability and non-probability. This plays a major role while we take the samples. Okay, so what type of sampling we are going to take? As I quoted an example, I want to study the placement pattern or level of the MBA students in South Africa. So how I'm going to select the sample? Okay, so it might be I have to select the various provinces in South Africa, or the cities in South Africa, we can say, and from that cities, how many number of MBA colleges are there, and from that, how many students I have to pick up. So there is some systematic way of selecting the samples. So these are some of the techniques, sampling techniques. I hope you would have studied this in your MBA, like in the first or second semester, you would have studied the simple random sampling. It's just a simple, we have many methods, just a lot method. So you write everything in a paper, you pick up, and that is a lot method. Stratified random, you stratify the group, right? You can just divide into group, girls, boys, or male, female, like that. And from that, you can pick up this much. Okay. And systematic random sampling, it means every fifth student or every fifth number I select. Okay. And cluster sampling is nothing but it's again the grouping of the homogeneous nature. Then comes the non-probability sampling. It's about the convenience of who, whether the customers or the researcher. It is the convenience of the researcher. So whenever I feel convenient, I collect the data. So while I'm just going for a walk, if somebody is there, I collect the data. If I'm going for a mall, if people are there, I collect the data. It's a convenience of the researcher. And quota sampling is nothing but some percentage, like, the quota in the admission process, like, you fix some 15% of I should select from girls, or I should select from boys, of 20% in various areas. It's called quota sampling. Judgmental sampling, again, judgment, right? Based on my judgment, my intuition, I feel I have to get the info from that particular college of students. Okay. And snowball sampling is nothing but the reference. So if I get a reference, if I get a data from one particular customer, they refer someone else. Through that reference, I go and meet his friend, okay, who's really getting a high package. So I meet him. Okay, so it is through reference. So these are some of the techniques of sampling techniques. Okay, we normally use this. So errors, always there will be an error in social science research, sampling error and non-sampling error. So error, we can't avoid it. Only thing is we have to avoid in the medical field, which should be zero error. We can't accept even 0.0001% of error in medical field. But in social science, we can accept. Even in production also, we can accept an error of 0.001%. Okay, that depends upon the product. So if you take a social science and marketing, or you want to just study the preference consumer behavioral pattern. So always that the consumers, they change their behavioral pattern. So now if they want to buy one thing now, if his friend suggests something else, then immediately his mind changes and he'll buy the next one. So the errors, maybe it's more while we get into this social science. Okay. So normally we accept an error of maximum of 20%, but it's a minimum of 5% we can, or even 1% we can accept. So it's a non-sampling error, might be the error due to the researcher or entering the data, be it wrongly enter the data. Okay, something like that. It's non-sampling error. So these are the two errors we normally get in the sample. And how to find the sample size. So it's all about the sampling technique. We selected the few places, and how many number of samples that we have to take. So it depends. There are many formulas to calculate the sample size, but this is the widely mostly used formula, which is very easy to find out the sample size. Okay, just like that, we can't select 100 samples or 200 samples or 300 samples. We can't do that. We should not do that. But normally we do, let us take 100 customers and we collect the data and we analyze. It should not be done. So what we do is we have to calculate scientifically with the help of this. There are many formula. One out of this, one I have projected here. And there are also calculators, online calculators, online sample size calculators are there. You can use that also. Here it is how we calculate. First, what we have to do is, first we have to make a pilot study. After coming out with the questionnaire, we have to go for a pilot study. What is a pilot study? You all know that. So suppose let us take some 50 students, and I collect the data from the 50 students, okay, from the questionnaire. So 50 questionnaires has been done. So why we are doing a pilot study? If there is any difficulty in answering the questions by the customers, the particular 50 customers, or if there's any mistakes in the questionnaire, that can be changed, okay, that can be modified, and we can just redo it, and we can collect the data from the rest of the customers. Okay, so how to calculate? So when we got some info or data from the particular 50 customers in the pilot study. So with the help of that data, we have to determine the sample size. Okay. So here you can see the n equal to zs my e the whole square. So, okay. So is that you can see the standardized value, the confidence level, it depends upon the confidence level here. So Z is 1.96 for the confidence level of 95%. The S value is a standardized value. Okay, based upon the confidence level, this is a standardized value, you know. And this S is also it's 90%. Okay, and what is the error? So here for this error, this S represents the sample standard deviation. This S represents the sample standard deviation that we got from the pilot study. So I told you some 50 data has been collected from the 50 customers. Okay, that 50 questionnaires has been collected. So what I do is I feed those data in an Excel sheet or in an SPSS software. I find the standard deviation for all the questions, for all the Likert scale questions, or we say that as the Likert type, that scaling questions. So what we do, I have to select all the questions, and if I find the standard deviation of those responses, so if the standard deviation I got is 0.90, then I substitute it here, okay, and the E value is 6 here. That is, E is the expected, the error, E is the acceptable error, okay. So if I substitute, I'll be getting the value 864. So like this, we have to find the sample size. So the sample size, it mainly depends on the pilot study that what we do. From that, we determine the sample size. So this is an example, and this is a reference. I can share this PPT with you. You can just refer this example in the this particular book. Okay. So here you can see the 95% of confidence level. It means you 95% can accept the result, and only 5% of error will be there. Okay. So confidence level is 95%, and level of significance is 5%. This 100 minus 95. So this is standardized value. 1.96 is standardized. You get this value from the Z table. And the sample, it's from, I've mentioned that I have taken some 50 samples, and the sample standard deviation is this much, 0.666. And your acceptable error is 0.05, 5% error. This 95 and 5. Okay, 100 minus 95 is 5. So if you substitute this in this particular formula, you'll be getting the sample size. 683 is you should be your sample size for that particular study. Hope you understood. So this is a very, very important thing. Unless I told you, we can also use a software or an online calculator. That calculator you can also try with raw calculator or a raw calculator is an online calculator. You can just try it. So that's a very important thing to find the sample size. And otherwise, next we go for the data analysis. It's a part that's very important here. So here, what we do is we collected the data from 683. 683 students, we have collected the data. That is the questionnaires that we have collected. So, or the employees, or whosoever it may be. So we have collected some 683 questionnaires. Okay, the number of questionnaires, and there may be some n number of questions in one questionnaire. Okay, so I'll show you an example also. So what we do is we edit the data. Okay, if there is any missing value, some would have done, they would not have ticked all the questions. Okay, so we edit the data which has not been filled. We just can fill up with the missing values based on the other responses. We can fill up the values. Otherwise, if the most of the questions has not been answered, you can just delete that particular questionnaire. And you have to coding. So with the help of coding means it's nothing but you're giving some numbers to represent, because if we can't feed the data as a text in a software. Only the software, it accepts the numbers. Okay, so we have to feed the data is a quantitative measure. So we have to code, we have to give a code like 1, 2, 3, we have to give a coding for each and every question. Then we have to enter the data with the help of keyboard. And next is the data analysis. The very important part where we derive, the info from the inference from the analyzed data. Okay, so the main two analysis what we normally do is the descriptive analysis. Okay, descriptive analysis and the inferential analysis. So this is the first one, descriptive, and all these comes under inferential analysis, univariate, bivariate, multivariate. All this comes under one heading as inferential analysis, or we say that hypothesis testing. Okay, so one is descriptive, the other is the inferential, which comprises of univariate, bivariate, and multivariate. And with the help of these analysis, we interpret the data and we come out with the output. So these are some of the statistical inference. I told you about the hypothesis testing, right? Parametric and non-parametric. I'll tell you what is parametric test and non-parametric. And normally we go with the hypothesis testing. Okay. And the main important thing we have to note is the measurement scales. Measurement scales. Hope you would have learned about the types of measurement scales. These are the basic measurement scales. That is enough. If we know this scales like nominal, ordinal, interval, and scale. There is one more, but in the case of in SPSS, only these three scales will be shown there. It is there. Okay. So the last two, first one is nominal, ordinal, interval, and the last one is ratio scale. So this interval and ratio comes under the third heading, scale here. So it comes under scale. Okay. Because if I'll show you the SPSS output, SPSS screen, you can see these scales. So scale. Okay. And so the ratio. Ratio is nothing but the height weight, which starts with a base from 0. Okay, age, length, it has some base. Okay, it's called a ratio scale. So this 4 scales is enough when you construct a questionnaire. So what I want to say is you should have for a PhD level or an MBA or this research part, you should include all these 4 type of scales in your questionnaire. So definitely we will be asking male, female, what is your age, what is your income, occupation, okay, something which is related to the research. And ordinal scale will be asking the preferences, what they actually prefer, okay. And the interval scale, I want the satisfaction level of the students in the class. Okay, we give a rating from 1 to 5. Yes, extremely satisfied, highly satisfied, to least satisfied. It's an interval scale. And ratio scale, what is the age? Okay, age of the customer, something like that. So a questionnaire should have the basic skills a questionnaire should have. Okay. So these are some of the examples. Yes, and thing is, okay. So based on these scales, we apply the statistics only based on the scale. If you want to apply statistics for nominal scale, then you have to do only frequencies. Okay, you have to do. You can't do a mean, or you can't do a standard deviation, or you can't do any analysis, other analysis like t-test, ANOVA, regression, correlation. Nothing should be done for this nominal scale. Okay, but people, they do, but it is wrong actually. Okay, so only if it is a categorical variable, you have to do only the frequencies, percentage analysis should be done. And these are the some of the other statistics that you can do, like chi-square analysis, chi-Kramer's contingency table. So these are some of the parametric and non-parametric tests, runs test, binomial, McNeum, these are some of the non-parametric tests you can apply to this nominal data. Ordinal, yes, of course. Ordinal, normally when we find a median, we arrange the data in an order, right? From in that we can apply this median, quartile, and non-parametric, some of the tests. KS test, we see that KS test, Kendall coefficient, Friedman test, two-way and avoiders. Okay, when it is a ranking, then we can apply all these tests. I'll tell you how to apply this Mann-Whitney, Kruskal-Wallis, Friedman test, KS test, everything. And the interval scale. Interval scale is nothing but the 1 to 5 point scale or 7 point scale or 11 point scale. Normally we go with the odd number of scalings, right? We give a neutral statement also. So this one, you know, we can apply mean, standard deviation, correlation, all type of tests you can apply for the interval. So what I would like to say, you have to include the interval scale in your questionnaire so that you can do more analysis. Okay, you can apply more statistical analysis for this interval scale. Okay, you should not go with only yes or no questions, something like that. So you can't derive some useful info, but when you apply the interval scale, you can, when you have interval scale questions in your questionnaire, you can apply more statistics and you can infer more from the data collected. And ratios, of course, the height, weight comes here. Okay. So how to start research after, I mean, you have done the questionnaire, you have collected the data, and based on the pilot study you have collected, you have finalized the sample size, and finally you collected the data from 83 customers. Okay. Next, what is the first step? So you have to enter the data in an Excel sheet. If you are comfortable with Excel, okay. Otherwise, there is a software called SPSS. Hope you all have known this SPSS. So Excel also, you can import the data from SPSS. The Excel data can be imported to SPSS also. That also you can do it. So first, we start with the reliability of data. So you all have heard about the what is the reliability? Reliable. So the data what we have collected is reliable or not. Some people might not have read the question. Simply they put a question without reading the questions, right? So in that case, if we check the reliability, so it might be less. It might be a point less than 0.4. We have a slab where we can say the data is reliable. If it is less than 0.4, then we say the data what we have collected is waste. It's not at all reliable. The people, they have not at all read the questions, and they put a tick and they give it back, and the actual decision or the actual info from the data is meaningless. Okay, so the data what we have collected should be reliable. So we have a test for reliability also. It's called a Cronbach-Alford test that I'll show you how to do that test. And the validity is nothing but we have to check all the validity. Validity is nothing but you have to check the content validity, the criterion, construct. So what normally the researchers can do is you have to check the questions whether, suppose if you want to measure the consumer behavioral pattern or the preference level of the customers, of the brands, of the brands of cars. So the question should be related to that preference where the car brands, okay? It should not be related something which is out of the box. So you should check. So it should the question should be related to our research, not out of the box questions, okay? And the validity can also be checked with the help of a factor analysis. Factor analysis is there. We can check the validity of all the questions or the items that we have framed. So from that, after analysis, we make inferences. Okay. So we all know that we frame a hypothesis. Okay, hypothesis, null hypothesis, and alternate hypothesis, the level of significance. These are the 5 steps normally we follow. 5 steps we follow, excuse me. So we frame the hypothesis, then we fix the level of significance, how much error that we can accept. Normally in associations, we go with the 5% or 1% error. Test statistics is nothing but the what statistical measure that we are going to apply, and finally the interpretation. Okay, so these are the things. So normally, if it is a manual thing, we normally calculate the value manually, and we compare that value with the table value, and either we reject or accept the hypothesis. Okay, we all know what is a hypothesis. Hypothesis is nothing but an assumption. It should be a neutral statement. Okay, so this is an important thing while we do our inference in SPSS. Okay, so normally in SPSS we won't take the table value. We won't refer the Z table or T table. We won't refer the tables there. We're using the software. While we do it manually, we refer the table. But when we feed the data, when we do the analysis with the help of the software, SPSS, then we use this p-value. With the help of p-value, we decide whether we can accept or reject the hypothesis. Okay, this is very important. You can make a note of it. Okay. And this table is also, it's an, you know, there's a number of the statistical tests you can see, and how the data should be, and what are the scales, and for that particular scale, what test has to be done. So for this particular scale, these are the tests that can be carried out. So yes, now we'll come to the practical demo about a case, okay, with the help of SPSS. So, you know, what is SPSS, right? The Statistical Package for Social Science. Actually, this is a paid software. It may cost even, there are many packages, it may cost more than 5-6 lakhs, okay? Normally the university they buy, and the students will use the software. Otherwise, what the students nowadays do, they take the, you know, the cracked one and they started using it. But apart from this, we do have many open source softwares which is freely available in the internet, like you know, Blue Statistics, then you know, Jamovi is another package which is freely available, which has the same features as that of the SPSS. Okay, so you can also download that. Otherwise, if you have a cracked version, you can start doing with this SPSS. It's a user friendly. You know, you would have heard about R, Python nowadays too for analysis, but people, if you're good in coding, and if you have a background of computer knowledge, then you can use the R and Python software. It's fully, you have to use a codings, but SPSS is a graphical user interface software that is by a click. Okay, you can just get an output within a minute, or within a second, you can say. Within a second, you can get the output. Okay, but the thing is, you have to decide what type of test has to be carried out for that particular question. That is a main thing that we have to decide it. Okay, so it has, I'll tell you the data window to window, these are things while I use the SPSS window here. Okay, so let me share I hope you all have the question. Yes. I have many questions here to be answered. I don't see. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll share my presentation here in the group at the end of the session. Sure, I'll do that. And yeah, okay. Many of you have asked for the PPT. Definitely, I'll share. And if you're in need of the slides, okay. I've added some more things here in this slide. What are the dangers, if any, of using SPSS? Dangers. Okay. Dangers, you know, we don't have just, it is, only thing is, it's a paid version, right? It's a paid version. We should have the access to that SPSS. Nothing. Okay. So let me share a case here now. You can just, you can see this questionnaire, okay? Questionnaire for a job description of employees in a particular industry, okay? Or a company, you can say HPH company. So I want to measure the job descriptions. So what I do is, I've told you about the nominal data, right? Nominal scale. So all this name, the gender, age, nature of job, full-time or part-time experience, all these questions comes under nominal scale. Okay, so for this nominal scale, we have to do only frequencies and percentages. Okay, and if you, so I have identified some variables like environmental perceptions, attitude toward co-workers, okay, organizational commitment, job satisfaction, and one more is staying intentions. So these are the 5 factors that I have identified to measure the job description of the employees in a particular company. Okay. So you see, these are the variables, environmental, attitudes, and under those variables, we have some questions. So these, we call that, this is an item. Okay. So I have named it as EP 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 questions to be answered on a 5-point scale. You can see here, strongly agree to, strongly disagree. Normally, we give a positive value, like strongly agree 5. I have given 5. To the least is 1. Strongly disagree, it's 1. You can also interchange, but normally what we think, if it is high, then we agree it, right? The higher number carries higher weightage. Okay, so better you can have the weightage. For the positive side is high weightage. And similarly, we have some 4 questions under this attitude towards co-workers, and here you have 4 questions, and here also you have 4 questions. Here you have some 4 questions. So I have coded the questions. I can't enter all this particular statement in an SPSS or in Excel. Excel you can do, but while doing the analysis, it's very difficult. So what normally we do is we code the questions. EP 1, 2, 3, similarly the other thing. Okay, so this is the questionnaire we have constructed. So this is a nominal scale that we have, and this is the Likert, the 3rd one, right? The interval scale, which comes under scales. So this is the questionnaire. So now what we are going to do is, we are going to analyze the data. Okay, so these are some of the questions which has been given at the end of the questionnaire. So if we do these tests, so I have separated as descriptive analysis and inferential analysis. I told you only 2 types of analysis there. It's inferential, otherwise we can say hypothetical analysis or hypothesis testing. Okay, so descriptive and inferential. So once you're done with these analysis, your whole studies, it's full. It's, you know, you have enough number of tests to derive or to infer enough number of the information from the analyzed data. Okay, so let me share. So these are some of the questions that I'll address it. If you have the question, you can just open it, and you can refer how I am just going to analyze the data. First, how I'm going to open. Hope you, if you have an SPSS, you can install, and if you open it, then fine. Otherwise, you can get a cracked version and you can do it. Otherwise, you can just enter the data in an Excel sheet. 1 minute. Let me share the responses. Just sharing this. This is an Excel sheet, okay? I'm not using the SPSS now. This is an Excel sheet where you can see all the questions entered here. Gender, okay? Gender, you have seen gender, age, job experience. So all data for nearly, you can see the numbers. Total, it's about 400. From 400 employees, I have collected the data and I have entered here. So 2 means female, 1 means male. Like that, I have coded the data and I have entered all the values. So file, according to this first employee, he is highly satisfied with this particular question. There, similarly, all the data has been entered here. Okay, you can see here. So now you have entered in Excel. I want to use the same data in SPSS. How to use that? So I'm closing this now. I'm just opening and SPSS here. Screen device. Can you see my screen now? SPSS screen. Hope you can view my screen. You can see this is an SPSS screen actually. After installing, if you open, the screen will, it's empty here, okay? Then we have to feed the data into the screen, okay? So instead of feeding the data, you can just import the file what you have entered. So I just open new data. I'm importing the Excel file from there, from the database what we have. Okay, so I have clicked file, open the data. I'm just going to import the data. So I'm just clicking this Excel. So this one I click. So we have a data set and I click OK. You can see here, the data has been, you got all the data from the Excel file into SPSS. Hope you got it. Not sure, I'll send the slides later. Okay, so I just imported the Excel file into this data. Okay, So we have two views, data view and variable view. So, this data view, it shows all the values here, and the variable view. So what are the things like, the question CP1, we have named it, right? Automatically it comes and sits in the SPSS screen. Only one few quite modifications that we have to do. We have to label it. Label is nothing but again, I can show the this one, the actual SPSS entry. You can see this is the label which has not been in the imported Excel file. So what we can do is we can just enter all those things here. Here, agent groups. See, here it should be a single word. Okay, you can see this, and there should not be any gap. If you give a gap, it won't accept it. I can have a separate session how to enter the data if you really need, and I can do that. This is just a demo that I'm showing. Okay, and here that age in groups. If we have to enter, if we import the data, and the values also has to be done. You can see here, I've given one for female and one for male and two for female. It has to be added. So that I told you the SPSS, it takes only the quantitative data. Okay, it won't take male. If we enter only male and female, it won't. It's impossible to analyze. So we give a coding. And you see here it is nominal. It automatically comes. If we enter the data, it automatically comes. Before, in the lowest version of SPSS, we have to mention whether it is a nominal or ordinal data. But here the latest version, it is, I think this version is 22, SPSS 22, where automatically it selects the scale. And you can see, I told you about only the 3 scales right here. The scale, it has both interval as well as the ratio scale, nominal, ordinal, and the other 2 scales in the scale measure. So this is the screen. Now we have to analyze the data. How to analyze? It's very simple. I'll just show some few tests because I think we have some limited time. I'll just show you how to analyze the data. So suppose if you want, sorry. So just you go, you can see many tabs here. Just go for analysis, analyze, descriptive statistics, frequencies. Okay. So I told you only for the nominal data, you have to find the frequencies, not for the interval scale. If you do, then it is wrong. It will give the output. See, this SPSS is garbage in, garbage out. Normally we say garbage in, garbage out. Whatever we feed, we get an output. But you should be careful to what type of question, what type of statistic should be applied. That is very important here. So here, if you click, I told you only this nominal data has to be considered for frequency and percentage. So I take the gender, group, I select these 4. Okay, with the help of keyboard, I'm just pressing Control, keyboard, I just bring it to the side. So serial number, I don't want, only for this. Okay, I click statistics, and nothing. This mean, median can't be done for the nominal data. So don't want to click anything. Just leave it as it is and display frequency tables. Just bring that side. Nothing. If you want to draw a chart like bar chart, pie chart, and histogram, click anything here. Pie and bar chart, pie chart I'm clicking. Okay. So the chart values, if you want frequencies or percentage, continue. Okay. See, within a fraction of a second, you can get the output. You get the output. So here this output has not been shown. I'll just. Okay. Can you see the output now? You can see the output here. See?
Yes, we can.
Yes, the frequency table, you can see gender, male, out of the total 400, 210 of male. Within a fraction of a second, you get an output rate. 400, age up to 30, 135, and the nature of job, how many full-time, how many part-time. So out of 400, this is the split up. And the frequencies for the experience. Up to 5 years experience, 121 employees are there. And about 25 years of experience, 59 employees are there. So this is the frequency, the numbers, and the percentage. Out of 400, 135, that is 33.8%. I don't want to see this valid percentage and cumulative, because valid, if suppose if there are any missing values, you can see, you can check here. So missing values, all the 400 entries are perfect. There is no missing values. That's the first table we get. So normally what we do, before processing the data, we fill up the missing values. There are some methodology to fill up, but normally what we do it manually. So based on that, we do it manually, and there are some methodologies also. So this is about the frequency table, and you can see the chart, right? You can see chart I have clicked, right? So within a second, you can get the frequency. And suppose I want to analyze the descriptive statistic, the descriptives. Frequency is only for the nominal data. Descriptives is other for the Likert scale. Okay, you can this Likert scale for the questions here. So I select this 4. The first 4 questions, I take it by this side. Okay, I want to find the mean. Only for this, I can find the mean. I should not find frequencies for this type of Likert scaling. I can find mean, I can find standard deviation, I can find variance, range, minimum value, maximum value, everything I can do it. If I don't want, I can just click it. I want only mean and standard deviation. And I click OK. And if I click OK, see, immediately you can click it, you get the result. You see, the mean of the whole the 400 employees of that particular question is 3.9. Okay, 3.9. What does it mention? So it is 4.1. It's highly strongly agree is 5. Agree is 4, right? The weightage. Agree is 4. 4 means this particular question carries 4. That is, most of the people, they agree with the second question. 182. Okay, and this is also close to 4. We can see most of the people, they agree with the EP3 question. We can just check the questionnaire. What does it state? What it actually says? EP1 and EP2, 3. The place I work is designed to help me to do my job better. They confirm that. They agree that. Okay, so this is how you have to make an inference. I've also shared one inference file with Ms. Vinolia. You can share it with others also. Okay, this is how we do. This is only about the descriptive, only frequencies and the mean, median, mode. We can also find mode if you want. Median also you can find. Okay, this is only the descriptive statistics. If you want to go for the, you can see the questionnaire. In the questionnaire, the second part is inferential analysis, what we call as hypothesis testing. Okay. So how to go? So first question here, I want to find out whether there is any difference between the gender with regard to the factors of the job description. So whether the male are happy with that or agreeing the they are happy with the job description factors, or the female, they have more, they strongly, they agree with the job description factor. I want to find out which gender has more agreeable to the factors. Okay, so in that case, we have to apply a t-test, because gender, we have only 2 options, like 1 is male and 2 is female. We have only 2 options. So I'm going to compare the gender with the factors. What are the factors that we have? We have some 5 factors, right? So I'm just going to compare it. So in that case, you have to go with the compare means. So that's a particular test that has been mentioned in the table which I have shown. For which type of question, what type of what analysis should be done. So compare means, I can see it's an independent sample t-test you have to apply, because independent, gender is independent, right? Male and female, they are not related, they are independent. So independent sample t-test has to be done. Why t-test is, we are comparing the means. We are comparing the means of the gender, male and female. So 2 samples, we are comparing whether male or agree or female, they are more agreeable. So I click this. Okay, so you get a window like this. So in the grouping variable is nothing but the categorical variable. So I put this gender in this variable and define the groups. I define group 1 as 1 and group 2 as 2. So to continue. And here what I do is, I have, what I have done in this is, I have added all these values, EP 1, 2, 3, 4 as one value as environmental. And next I have added all these AC 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is the organization commitment. Similarly, the 5 factors, all the 4 questions, I have added all those values and I have made another variable. So I'm just clicking that. So you see, this is a nominal variable and this is a scale variable. Okay. So the t-test, all the inferential statistics should be done with the with the nominal and an interval, or nominal and like a t-test, ANOVA, it should be done with the nominal and the interval scale. Okay, if it is a chi-square, nominal and a nominal crosstabs we do. Okay, there are some rules that you have to follow. Otherwise, if you click this other data also, the output we get, but it is waste. It won't give a proper the output here. So option, nothing, you don't want to touch anything. You can see the interval percentage of confidence rates. Automatically, it's a default, it's 95%. Next, just click OK. See, within a fraction of a second, you get the output. And here, I would like to see or tell you, we have to see the mean value. A mean value in the first table, and in the second table, we have to see this value. Significance value, it's nothing but the p value. So here is a t-test. You don't want to see this. This is for the variance. And here you have to see the t-test for equality of means. That what we have done. You have to see this significant two-tailed value. And we have 2 values. Here you have to, you can see this equal variances not assumed. So you have to see this 0.404. Okay, this is an output. I'll show you the inference. How? So this is a p-value. I'll show one example for this particular t-test, how an inference should be. 1 minute. I'll just open that. See, this thing can't be covered within 1 or 2 hours. Okay, it needs some at least some 2 or 3 days for the whole thing to be explained properly. So anyway, I'll just show you how to how the inference should. Yeah. Presentation. I hope you can see my screen, right? So here you can see, yeah, this is the second one. So you see, there is no difference. So normally a null hypothesis should be written like this. So always a hypothesis test should start with a null hypothesis. No need of writing the alternate, but mention the null hypothesis and it's represented by H0. So normally it should be a neutral statement. So we should not tell this male has high agreeability towards the factors of exclusion, or female have high agreeability. We should not say give weightage for any of the factors. We have to maintain a neutral statement, like there is no difference. Both they agree same within the same level. Okay, so this should be your null hypothesis. And you see how I reframed that 2 table into a 1 table. So actually, you should not copy paste that entire table and put it in your final report. Okay, it should be in this format. Like, you know, gender, male and female. I have written only the male and standard deviation. For female, I have male and standard deviation and the t-value. T-value and p-value. So from this, what I infer, this is actually, these are the values that I got from the output. I've just took and I kept it in a separate sheet. So from this, what you infer. So if it is a 2-star, then it means it is at 1% significance level. That is 1% of error is accepted. If it is a single star, it denotes 5% error. Okay. So I have already, you know, there's in the very first table or in the PPT also I have mentioned If the p-value is between 0.0 to 0.01, then it is highly significant. It's highly significant. So you can, if it is highly significant, you have to reject the null hypothesis. Okay, there is a condition. That condition you should make a note of it. That is based on this table. You have to make the inference. You see, I'll show the conditions. Hope you can see my screen. This is the condition. Okay, you can see if the p-value is 0.000 to 0.010, then that is if you get a 2 star, then you have to write it is highly significant, and straight away you can reject the null hypothesis at 1% level. So you have to check the p-value, and this is a standard table. You can refer it. You can refer this the standard values with the output. So here in our case, it is so you can see here. It's 0.039, 0.40. It means the values here. Show that particular output so that you can easily understand. So you see, this is 0.40, right? If it is 0.40, then it is a single star, you can see. And 0.001, it's a double star. We have to put double star here. So based on this, you can accept or reject the null hypothesis. So in this case, you see, this is the inference that I have to write for the table. Since p-value is less than 0.01, so if it is less than 0.01, you see, 0.001 it is, right? If it is less than 0.01, the null hypothesis is rejected. That is a standard condition. Okay, it should be rejected at 1% level with regard to factors of attitudes and co-workers. You can see attitude of workers. And here also it is two stars here. So staying intentions and attitude, you have to reject the null hypothesis. It means that this null hypothesis has been rejected. There is no difference has been rejected. So it means that you have to accept the alternate hypothesis. What is the alternate? Just opposite to that. That with regard to the factors. How we can say there is a difference? You see, one is this attitude. If the mean, you can see the mean is 15 here, but the mean for female, it is 8.7. So you can see the values. The mean here, it is very less. For female, it is less, but for male, it is more. And for this also, you can see the mean is 14 something here, and it is 15.82. So, you know, even it is very less, but it is very, it's a significant, highly significant. So we have to reject the null hypothesis. This is how we have to make an inference. Hence, there is a significant difference between male and female. Yes, of course, female have less towards the particular factor. Okay, and we can add some more reasons why it is so. So this is how an output should be. Okay, this is a test. Similarly, we can do an ANOVA test. We can do a chi-square test. We can do a regression, correlation that we can do. Okay, this is just an example that I have shown how SPSS gives that output immediately and how to do the other tests also. Otherwise, let us have a separate session for teaching all these from the basic, like from the starting, how to enter the data, everything I can teach you some other day. This is just a demo that I have given. Okay, that's about, and I would like to show something, yes, that's about it. Here also I have given for exercise 1. It's in the Word format. I have shared the Word for that particular exercise, what type of test has to be. And you can just refer this. There are nearly some 9 questions I have given. You can refer to that. And you can try and, because Ms. Vinolia, is it time that I should close my presentation so that we can open up some few minutes for any questions or for discussion?
Yes, you can just wrap everything up before we take questions.
But it takes another 1 hour.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much, Doctor. I think because of time,
yes,
we can just pause for now. In fact, I really enjoyed the session so much so that, and I feel that our participants also did enjoy it, and we really love to see you back and as soon as possible. So I'm just going to put this, we can just deliberate it and find time where we can have probably a full day workshop to assist, build capacity for those that really want to develop the skills to analyze their stuff. Gone are those days where you're going to complete your master's and doctoral study looking for a statistician to help you. Developing that capability to be able to do it yourself is part of the process that master's and doctoral students need to develop that capabilities. So we'll be sending out an email indicating to them when that will be feasible and for those that will be interested. And we'll also solicit your availability so we could be able to have a full day session on SPSS training. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Is there any questions till now? Have any questions?
Okay, on behalf of the audience, I would like to thank you so much for the insightful presentation. It was very educational, very informative as well. I would like to ask any of the audience if there's anyone who would like to maybe ask a question, and I don't know, you are given the opportunity to do so while Ms. Yavana is still here. You can just unmute yourself and ask whatever that you want to ask. The platform is yours, guys. Thank you.
All right, good evening to everyone. I have a quick question for Dr. Pierre, and my question is, she has done a presentation on SPSS, and my question is, what is the advantage of using SPSS over the other statistical softwares?
Yes, good question. As I previously mentioned about it is EC as a GUI, we call that as a graphical user interface. Even if we don't have a coding, the softwares like Lizrel and R, Python, all those software needs a coding knowledge. Those are good in the coding languages, have studied, have a background, computer science background, they can use those softwares like R, Python, Literal, SAS, many softwares are there which are code-based. Okay, but this SPSS, and there are many other softwares like Jamovi, the Blue Statistics, Blue Sky Statistics. So all those statistics, all those softwares are graphical user interface. You can easily by a click, okay, with the help of the icons, by a click, you can just, we don't want to code anything. So that's why this software really gives, there's a main advantage of this software, using this software. You can also use Excel. So all this test what we can carry out with the help of SPSS can be done in Excel too. But also, this is the main advantage of this software SPSS.
Okay.
Hope I have answered your question, sir.
Yes, and a follow-up to that. So when we use SPSS, it's going to actually generate us a set of data which we still need to analyze. And my question is, when I produce this data from the SPSS software, is it okay for me to do the analysis by myself, or do I need to give it to a certified statistician to be able to interpret the data for me?
Yes, as your professor has mentioned that nowadays the students, even the PhD students, they need a statistician for analysis part, right? The main challenge here is in SPSS or any software is you should know what type of statistics should be applied for the particular question or the particular data. Unless you know, only the statisticians, they know that perfectly. Unless you know this strategy or the concept, definitely you can't do it. So you have to first study, or you should know what type of statistics should be applied to the particular data, that is the questions. So I have mentioned about the nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So everything is based on this 4 scales. So that 4 scale, what type of statistics to be applied to the nominal data? Only percentage analysis can be done. If you know that basic statistics, okay, then definitely you can carry out this analysis by yourself. No need for going off for a statistician. You don't want to outsource this. Okay. So this thing is you have to read and you have to understand. So for nominal data, for ordinal data, we can do median. Median. For intervals type, we can find the mean, standard deviation, descriptive statistics. Similarly, t-test has to be applied for the particular type of data. And chi-square should be applied only for the nominal data. That basic knowledge you should have. Otherwise, it will be difficult. So whatever we feed in SPSS, we get an output. It gives an statistics, what type, everything, the rest of the SPSS takes care, right? We don't want to manually calculate t-value, p-values. That application, that the knowledge about the statistics, where to apply is matter of sense.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
I do appreciate.
Understood. Any more questions?
Yes, I think Vinolia, can I come in here?
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, Dr. and Professor. Your presentation, you really simplified the SPSS manner you presented it, and we really enjoyed your presentation. Comes to the master's and PhD research, we still struggle using these econometrics and statistics in our research methods, particularly with regard to the quantitative studies. So you as an expert in this SPSS, and you're also an engineer yourself, can you just suggest, because there is a kind of resentment over the quantitative methods in Africa, most of the students, and surprisingly, I'm not saying theoretically, but practically I'm saying that we do have more than 75% of the researchers in Africa, may not be in South Africa alone, but in most of the African continent, they are terrified with the quantitative research methods. They are comfortable only with the qualitative research methods. But what is your suggestion that is it too terrific, or any simple man who doesn't have a deeper understanding over the mathematics or statistics can able to use the SPSS package without having any turbulences or problems? Or how do you advise the non-statistical, non-mathematical, non-econometrical students using this SPSS package? What are your thoughts on that? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the question. So it's not only in Africa or continent that the students are more terrified towards the subject is mathematics or statistics. Everywhere, whenever, if you can take our students also, if they want to learn this particular course, definitely they have a fear in learning that. They don't have much confidence in learning this particular subject. So statistics, statistics is completely different from mathematics. So mathematics, when we talk about statistics, the student may think that we have to work for one theorems, that what they have learned for the lower classes. It's totally different. Statistics is totally different. Even a non-mathematical student can learn statistics very easily. Like the statistics is nothing but that, right? It's very, we play with the numbers, that's all. We do only the operators, arithmetic operators, like plus, minus, that thing we do with the screen statistics. We won't do any theorems here. We won't do a trigonometry here. We won't have any calculus here. So nothing to worry. Even a non-mathematical student, we don't have a background of mathematics, can use the statistics, they can learn statistics, and with the help of that basic statistics understanding, he can use the SPSS software. Sorry. Only thing, while using the SPSS software, we should have a basic statistic concept we should know. Like I told you, only that 4 type of scales. For that 4 type of scales, what statistics should be applied. So we have some n number of statistics. Let us take some 10 statistical tests. So for that particular question, what statistics should be applied? Whether it is t-test should be applied, or ANOVA should be applied, or regression, or correlation, or multiple regression, that we have to decide. The thing that they have to understand only that concept, that is enough. So we don't want to much read about mathematics and other things here. So the non-statistics, so those who don't have a background of mathematics can easily, they can go with this SPSS software, and it is user-friendly also. We don't want any codings, that computer science knowledge, it's not at all required. Everything within a click, we get an answer. Only the basic research methodology we should know, that's enough. That anyone can do it. If it is in a proper way that we teach the students, they can do their analysis by themselves with the help of SPSS.
Well, finally, from my side, Professor Yavana, I do also join the hands with Professor Ambe Marcus, the president of this organization, that we would like to request you in the near future to spend maybe a day or two with our researchers from African continent to give us a full-fledged training. I think I look forward for that, and we really need your support. And thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And I really personally thank you for creating time for our students in African continent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your support always. Thank you so much.
Okay, I do see a question from the chat box. It says, what in your experience and informed opinion? Sorry. Okay, let me start again. It says, what in your experience and informed opinion is the better statistical data collection method, qualitative or quantitative?
It should be a combination of quantitative as well as qualitative measures has to be collected. Because one thing quantitative, a questionnaire should contain both qualitative and quantitative measures. Like, you know, if the example that I have shown is the job description, right? So in that, if you take that, the first part, the descriptive analysis, right? The first nominal scales, all are quantitative measures. And the other thing, job description is a qualitative factor. So job description, I told you about the IQ level of the student. It is a qualitative measure. But how do you measure the quality? How do you measure the IQ of the students? Or let us say, how do you measure the beauty of a girl? Let us take, how do you measure the beauty? So might be we may have some variables like to measure. Beauty is a qualitative measure, but how we measure that beauty based on some variables, like might be her physical appearance, might be the attitude of the girl, or might be the intelligence level. So we have many variables that should be measured with the help of a rating, like 1 to 5 scaling. Then with the help of that quantitative measure, we measure the qualitative factor. That is a beauty, can be measured with the help of some variables. So with the help of quantity, we measure the quality. So the questionnaire should, it obviously, it contains both quantitative and qualitative variables.
Okay,
I have answered this question.
Thank you so much. I also hope that the question has been answered. I don't think
thank
we
you.
have...
Earlier, before you go in, through
Okay.
your permission, maybe I can just also step in here. I mean, Rani have already spoken about it, but I just want to highlight to our students also that what inform your decisions, there's no wrong or right answer. It depends on the nature of the study that you are conducting, that you need to look at. What type of problem are you addressing? You know, how did you construct the nature of your research questions or probably your objectives? What type of data are you going to gather? You see, so it's a lot of combination of things that will determine which one goes better, and depending on the nature of your study, which you need to be able to justify adequately. Thank you. Over to you, Vanilla.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Ambe, for clarifying that. There's a comment here which says, thank you very much for the insightful and comprehensive presentation by Dr. Yavana, sincerely appreciated. And also to Prof. Ambe, thank you for hosting this event. And before we close the session, I would like to know if there's anyone in the audience room who would like to maybe ask or get clarity of something before we conclude with the session. I'm just going to give you the platform without any waste of time. Okay. On behalf of ASCA, I would like to thank you, Dr. Yavana, for allowing us to steal your time. I know it's evening at that side, but I would like to thank you very much for allowing us to have you on our session. It was very, very informative. And also on the suggested session for the whole day session, we will still ask your permission for that and your availability. And we will communicate and let the student know of your availability. As a SCA, we would like to thank everyone for availing themselves. We do have a YouTube channel where you can get all our recordings for the sessions that we are hosting. We do have also the social medias, which is Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. You can also follow us from there. We are African Institute for Supply Chain Research. So you can follow us for more information about the sessions and the recordings that we're having. Without wasting time, okay, before I forget, we have a session which is coming on the 16th of September. So get ready for our next session. And I would like to thank everyone. Without wasting your time, because it's already late, I would like to thank you and enjoy your evening. Or maybe Dr. Yavana, do you have anything to say before we close?
Yes, thank you so much, Professor Ambe, for this wonderful opportunity that has been given to me. So it's really a nice experience that I shared my experience with the students of your university. And I would like to thank the students or the participants for this session. And especially, I would like to thank Professor Ravinder, sir, for this opportunity and your kind support all the time towards it. And finally, I would like to thank the Ms. Vinulia for the wonderful coordination with me. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for that. Professor Ambe, would you like to say a few words before we close?
No, not really. Thank you very much, Doc. I mean, we really appreciate it. And thank you also, Vinelia. We'll communicate and we'll look forward to the 1 or 2 day SPSS session. Thank you.
Sure, sure.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
To hear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Yavana. And I would like to thank everyone. Pleasure. Yes, I would like to thank everyone who availed themselves to be here today. And let's continue to do that even in the future.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I would like to end this session, if I'm allowed to. I would like to say to everyone, please do enjoy your evening further, and until we see each other on the next session. Thank you, and bye.
Bye.
Bye.